All right, you got your bugs, so we can start now.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is episode 44 of the GameFi rundown, and like we've been saying the past couple of weeks, it's going to be mostly Illuvium focused. Big things happened this past week. Actually, just yesterday, the TestNet, what is it? The TestNet private beta. What are we looking at? 10,000 people getting into this, and I don't know how many people are in yet, but I know over these past couple days and these next few days, they're slowly letting in more and more people till they get to that 10,000 max, just so they can make sure things don't break along the way. But I know I'm in. I've been in for a little bit playing. You're in, right, Jimbo? Yeah, I think I saw
Oh yeah.
you. Yeah, I actually hopped into the Discord. I saw you streaming on the Discord just yesterday. First topic I just want to talk about is just the changes that this PB4 brings in, because we had what PB3 that's already been out for over a year at this point, I think. And
Yeah.
at that point, you were just shooting these globes or wakes, whatever you want to call them, to battle the alluvials. Now we're actually chasing these alluvials around and shooting them. Now we're shooting plants and rocks to extract them. Before this, you had to actually run up next to the rock and then press a button and then have your Mozart clear it out. And another thing that I just heard recently, or I just learned about recently, how the shards work are changing. Originally, if an alluvial broke out of your shard, you get to keep that shard. You didn't lose the shard, and then you could just use it again on another alluvial. But now, when the shard breaks, it's gone. And I think to balance that out, they're making shards easier to get in the overworld. But yeah, if you get that tier 5 shard and throw it at a ramfire and miss, or not miss, but don't capture the ramfire, then you're going to lose that shard. But when it comes to the changes, are there any other changes that you're seeing, and did these changes improve the game so far?
I haven't seen a change that I don't think is just miles above what they had. While the changes to shards are a thing, there is now like a master ball shard that I hear just catches them no matter what. And if they break out of a shard, alluvials can no longer run away after a failed capture. So that's going to give us even more chance to capture this or that alluvial. And the fact that a master shard is a thing now is going to make me feel so much better about like running into super rare. Can you imagine we had the old shard system and you get a dark, I know everybody says dark hollow ramfire, but what if you did get that? And you didn't have anything to catch it, or you had like tier 5 shards and you failed every single time. Yeah, no, okay.
No,
But
I'm gonna have 5 master shards on me every run I go in. Like,
oh yeah,
no point. There's
for
no way
sure.
I'm throwing basically any tier 5, stage 2 or higher. There's no way I'm throwing anything other than a master shard at it. Like, there's no point.
Yeah, dude. If I lose an alluvial that's worth like $10,000 because it's a dark hollow or hollow, I'm punching a hole through my screen, punching a hole in my wall. I may even punch a hole in my mom and dad. I don't know, dude. But like that would just piss me off so bad. So yeah, the shard changes all four. Love Master Shard. Love that the old shards break. That's gonna help the economy for shards, I think. And also, like you said, the fact that you don't have to walk up to a rock and mine it and wait for Mozart and then walk to the next rock. Now you're shooting. You see an alluvial, you're chasing it and shooting it. After then you go into the battle. You get out. It slows down a little bit during the battle. You get out and then you're just back at it. Shoot a rock, shoot a plant, shoot a rock, find another alluvial. It's so much more fast paced. I've been saying this every single second since this game came out. The pace of the game in the overworld is so much faster. It feels so much smoother, and it feels like a real game now instead of just a pack opening. Of course, there's a lot of bugs and a lot of there's still more room to grow. Definitely.
Mhm.
But and I hope this isn't recency bias or bias because of Illuvium, but I genuinely think of Illuvium Overworld can stand on its own now easily.
Yeah, it's definitely heading in the right direction. And I do want to get your overall final thoughts on this later in probably the last segment here. But a couple more changes that I'm thinking of. Let's see. So now you have your drones that have these special abilities. Since I'm not that great, I use a controller first of all, not the mouse. I'm still not that great at aiming and shooting. So I've been using the drone that helps you get these alluvials, whatever you call it. You press, I don't know, I have it to the controller. You press a button and then your drone comes in and starts shooting a little bit more. So I've been using that drone because that's the one that's going to help me out the most. And I can't even tell you what the other drone's abilities are off the top of my head. But those drone abilities are a new thing. And what was the other thing? Oh, in the morphopods, those are honestly just a pain in the ass now. I'm not even sure if I like those things.
Dude.
I the first
Especially
couple
in
times,
Abyssal Basin, because
yeah,
you're in like
the first,
corridors and they just follow you fast and
yeah,
it like stacks. So it's like
like
super annoying.
not even kidding you. The first time I got into or I played this testnet beta, I got to a point where I couldn't jump or anything, and I was just like, damn stupid bug. I press B. I'm like submitting a bug, like a bug report, being like, I can't jump. Like something's going on here. I felt so stupid because someone's gonna read that and be like, damn. Nick or Jay didn't even know like what's going on.
Dude,
Just shoot the
no.
morphopods above you.
My bug report was the worst. You know the plant that has the spikes on it?
Yeah.
So when I was in the tutorial, I was shooting plants and I saw them like kind of disappear. And I shot the one with the spikes on it and I didn't like notice that the spikes disappeared. So I was even in the voice channel, I was like, "Oh, already found a bug." And I was like, "Wait, that sounded mean. I didn't mean for it to be." But then I took a picture of the bug and I was like, "Plant did not go away. Like I'm a fucking idiot." Sorry for cussing.
Yeah, but there are a lot of changes, and I'm sure there's some that we're not even thinking of right now. I like them. Like you said, all the changes are good. I love being able to shoot those rocks from pretty much as far away as you can get. As long as you can see it, you can make the shot. My only problem is just like actually getting these alluvials is harder now, at least for me, because I'm just not a good shooter. Like I've had some of these tier zeros run away into their little wake, and after I've been like had them like 90% shot, and I'm just like, if that's like a ramfire or something rare, like I'm gonna be pissed because I'm gonna know that's on me. That I couldn't shoot it, and that's why I lost it.
To be fair, if they do go through that wake, they're still on the map. You just have to go find them again.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. When you find them again, are they do they still have that damage on them, or do you need to
I
start over?
I don't know. I'm sure that they still have the damage on them.
Okay, that's good to know. I wasn't even aware of that. So if I do lose something good, I just need to go and find it again. One thing I'm not sure. I've only been playing tier zeros. I've played like maybe 5 or 6 rounds so far, or not tier stage zeros. When you get into the higher tiers, do the higher tier alluvials run away faster? Are they harder to shoot down, or are they? Is it kind of all the same?
I've only
Have you
done
noticed?
stage 0 as well because the test net right now or the fuel thing isn't working right now. And yesterday I just did all tier 0 to get my Supreme jetpack and boots, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, because like I'm saying, I've been struggling to get some of these tier zeros that if a tier 5 is 5 times harder to get, like I'll never get.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but let's move on to this next topic here. So, what I'm just calling like the daily grind is because I'm realizing I've only been playing tier zeros, and that's because I'm just trying to get the resources I need to upgrade my boots and my jetpack. And I might not be the quickest playing this game. I'm probably averaging 20, 25, maybe even 30 minutes a run. And I've still only been able to upgrade my ranger equipment to like level 2. And I'm just like, it's going to take me so many hours just to get the resources I need to go and have fun in this game. And I feel like that's going to be such a grind. And I've never been that player that likes the grind. Like to me, you need time to enjoy the grind, and I just time is not on my side. I'm so busy with everything that I can't grind. I'm definitely gonna be the person buying things off the market, and we'll talk about that in a later segment. I don't know. Do you think it's gonna be that big of a grind, or do you think things are gonna change, or like, do you think I'm just too slow? Do I need to get better? Can I get through these runs in 10 minutes and be efficient? Is it me who sucks, or is it really a grind?
I mean, it's probably a mix of both, right? Because with the game just came out, you can't be the pro at it yet. But and I have a weird take on this because I come from playing RuneScape, which it can take 2 to 3 months just to max out one skill. So while I took 10 hours to get my Supreme jetpack and mag boots and my visor, I enjoyed it. I liked the grinding because I was like, when I play games like that and I grind it out and I get everything finished, it's like I outworked the person next to me. It's like a capitalism simulator. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Kind of. Regardless, you know what I mean. But yeah, the grind, I personally like it because imagine if there wasn't that grind, the Supreme jetpack and mag boots would be worthless, right? Because it's free to go in there. So you want, especially the gear. I think it's completely fine for that to be super grindy. Honestly, I think it's probably a little too fast.
Yeah.
because people are going to be able to buy it off the marketplace anyways. So you might as well make it less grindy. But yeah, I personally like the grind again, but that's the kind of player I am. A lot of
Yeah.
people that come from MMOs will probably like it.
Yeah. Now, do you think this could it be a problem like turning away some people? Because I know obviously I'm so deep in Illuvium, it's not going to affect me. But there's been some new games that I've tried out, and it's like if I played 2, 3, 4 hours of it, and I feel like I didn't get that far in those 3 or 4 hours, then I'm just like, do I really want to commit more time to this, or do I just want to call it quits and move on to something else? I can see some people coming into Illuvium being like, oh, this is cool, it looks like a great game, great graphics, and then spend 3 or 4 hours and be like, I really didn't get anywhere. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like, do you think we might run into a problem with that?
Yeah, but that's just like the game, right? Some people don't like this kind of game. Some people don't like that kind of game. That's not something we should worry about. As long as there's a group of people in a market for that kind of a game, which there is. I mean, MMOs have been dying for the longest time and people want something to replace it with. I think crypto games are the perfect place for that. But yeah, I think that's just a preference thing. No one has, not everybody has to like Illuvium.
Let's move on to this next topic here. So I just want to talk quickly about the airdrop points because I've heard Kieran in another AMA talk a little bit more about it. I know we still don't have all the details, but he did mention that airdrop points for this testnet are primarily going to be based off of playtime. There's no plans for like quests or anything like this. But he did mention that when we get into open beta, there'll be quests. And I think he gave an example of, go out and catch 3 Atlas for that day. And there'll be daily, weekly, and just whatever you call it, like the whole time. Like some that you just need to hit once, and then quests for daily and weekly. What are your thoughts on all these, how this airdrops are set up? Any certain check boxes you'd like to have or quests that you'd like to see? And how do you feel about the private testnet being based basically just on playtime?
So the first question is, what do I want to see for a goal to get airdrop points? I mean, it would be cool to see some things where it's like get to a supreme jetpack or mag boots by yourself. That's a cool idea. Go out and catch this or that alluvial within this time frame. Just like random stuff like that, I think is fine as long as it's doable and not like super luck based.
Yeah, and you actually just
Or
like kind of made me think of something too. Like if there is something like get the Supreme Mag boots, I'd like it to have to be like you had to get them yourself rather than you can't just buy them off of the market and get that checkbox. You had to go and grind for them yourself.
yeah, because then people could just trade the item, between each other.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
guild would just be like, here, have these mag moves, now send them to me, now send them to me. But
Yeah,
I
that
agree.
makes sense.
Definitely should be like everybody needs to. If there's a goal like that, people need to buy or not buy. They need to grind out that stuff for themselves. I think.
Yep.
But I think playtime just for this beta, I think that's fine. I'm also gonna be like have the most hours because I work from home. So
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like the playtime. I mean, it makes sense, especially for the private beta. Like, the more playtime, the more data, the more bugs they find. So, just the more people playing is better for them in general. Me, my personal take, like I've always said, is like I feel like my time is limited, so I want to be the person that like goes out for an objective. Like I'll like it a lot better when we get to that open beta where it's like maybe the daily quest is go catch 3 Atlas, and then I'll be like, all right, so which region is gonna have Atlas that I can find the most? I'm gonna go to that region. I'm gonna be prepared, set up my drone the right way, have the right shards, go out, do the quest, and get that checkbox for the day. Rather than it's just like just go out and play, do whatever you want, and just rack up your time.
yeah, I respect that. I think the biggest issue with playtime would be if just sitting on the main screen counts as that playtime, because then you could just do it all day. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they'll have something for that. Like maybe there would be like a max time per run. Maybe like if you do one run, once you hit like 30 minutes, it just stops counting at that point or something. I'm sure there's got to be something because someone's got to think about that. Like obviously somebody could just load up the game and stay in the same travel once and just keep their computer on for 30 days. So there's got to be something against that. Yeah, so hopefully we hear something in the next. Actually, I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon, but I guess in the next month, by the time we get closer to open beta, what these points are going to look like, what these airdrop points are going to look like, or what these quests are going to look like. I'm definitely curious to see what they're like, and I'm going to be grinding for as many as I possibly can because I want to get those juicy airdrop ILV. So let's move on to this topic. Basically, resources or alluvials, anything that you can grind out, I think is going to be in high demand. We were just talking about this before, like the grind. Let's see. I was in the Discord watching some people stream. I don't know if this is before you got in there or while you were in there, but I heard it was Josh.e. He was like, I'm definitely going to be one of those people that just buys the first mag boots off the store because I don't want to grind for them. I think there's going to be a lot, even more people than I expected that just don't want to go on this grind, at least for some of the resources, and they're just going to be buying them off the market. I know for me personally, yeah, I don't want to grind for those mag boots. I don't want to grind for the equipment. I don't even want to grind for anything other than alluvials. So I want to go out and just buy some shards off the market, buy some ranger equipment, drone equipment, whatever it is it's going to take for me to just go on some tier 3 runs and catch alluvials. And I think there's going to be a lot of people like that. So there could be a good market out there for just farming all of this equipment. But I mean, what do you think the demand on these, not just the equipment or not just the resources, but the alluvials too? Like, do you think a lot of people are just going to want to buy these up, or are they going to be grinding for it?
I'm worried that there's not going to be enough demand for the alluvials just because Arena is the only game that feeds that in, like feeds alluvials into it. And I've heard a lot of people argue that, like, well, some people like to collect them. I don't think that many people are just going to want to collect all of these alluvials, especially the ones that don't have good stats or aren't super rare or aren't hollow or dark hollow. But as for, like you were saying with the ranger equipment, I think for the first few months that is, if you are in a financial situation where you need to grind some money out, or you're in a third world country, I could definitely see this being that like, you know how the craze for third world countries for Axie was last cycle. I could see that being the craze this cycle until people make bot scripts, and I think that won't be for at least a month or two. But once that happens, it might be dead depending on the bot detection system that they have, because it's free to get into tier 0, right? That's the
Yeah.
only unfortunate thing about it, is the botting stuff. But yeah, I think ranger equipment, especially in the first few months, is going to be super high demand, and then shards are going to be huge, especially now that they break
Yeah.
and it's every time they fail, right? They break. So
Yeah, I
that's
think it's
going to be
automatic. Yeah.
huge demand. There's going to be, especially the master shards, people are going to pay an arm and a leg for those, because nobody wants to be the guy that has the clip on YouTube that everybody's memeing where he lost out on a $50,000 JPEG. Or I guess it's not a
Yeah.
JPEG. It's not. It's a MP4 file. But yeah,
Yeah.
nobody wants to be that guy. So shards are going to be huge, I think. Even after there's no botting is going to bring down the price of shards, because you have to pay to get in anyways.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
financial
exactly, on
advice.
those higher tiers. Yeah, and that does make sense about what you were saying about alluvials. Because, like I just said, like my plan is probably to buy up the resources I don't want so I can spend my time catching the alluvials. Once I catch the alluvials, like I want to catch them just for me. But you're right. If everybody's out there just wanting to catch these alluvials, only a certain percentage of them are being used for arena matches. Like eventually they could get over flooded, and there could be not enough demand for them. Even if you're a collector, once you collect your however many, maybe what do you need, 17 of a stage 1 alluvial to have all 3 stages collected. Is that right? 15, 9 to get the tier or the stage 3, plus 3 to get the,
No,
so
you just need
13.
9.
But if you wanted to have one of each, if you wanted an Atlas,
Oh,
an
okay.
Axon, and an Axodon,
Yeah,
then
not
you
only
need,
that, you have to grind out the levels, which I have been doing. It takes a very long time. So
yeah. Actually, I that was something I was gonna bring up in the daily grind. I even wrote it down, but I forgot to say it. Yeah, you need to get them to a certain level before you can even fuse them. Like if you wanted a Ramfire, you can't just go off the market and buy whatever 9 Ramfies, because then you need to take those Ramfies and level them up.
Yep.
So there's going to be a big gap in the marketplace when you see a RAM fee level 1 versus a RAM fee level 30 or whatever it is that you might need it to fuse. You're going to be able to sell that level 30 for so much more because it's going to be ready to fuse, and somebody might want to buy it to fuse rather than just buy it so
Exactly.
they could grind themselves.
Possibly another money making method though.
Yeah, I
A
mean,
little bit
not
riskier, but
financial advice. None of this is financial advice.
yes, none of this is financial advice.
They
This is
they
money
could
making
all
in
go to
theory.
zero.
Yeah, that it's crypto.
Yep.
I doubt it though.
Um,
Illuvium forever. Not financial advice.
but yeah, I'll be curious to see what it is. But seeing how things are just over the past few weeks, I do think the demand for almost every other resource is going to be higher than I expected, and the demand for the actual alluvials might be a little lower than I expected. We'll see soon enough. And actually, another thing you could bring up is just on the demand part. Like when you think about this, you're thinking about selling on the secondary, but I know there are already some people who are listing things and selling on the testnet secondary. So we might actually get a better idea of how these are gonna work over this next month. Because there are going to be people who are, I know there are people who are already grinding this out, and they want to see how far they can get in this next, what we might have 2 months playing this, or even longer. Like they're going to be listing these alluvials, trying to get more, even though you can get free testnet ETH basically. But yeah, I think by the end of this testnet, we'll have a really good idea of how the open beta is going to work, even though it's fake money and fake NFTs basically.
We'll have very rough ideas because we'll be able to see drop rates and we'll be able to see how everything just flows together. You know what I mean? We'll have a
Mm.
very rough idea, but maybe it'll take us by surprise. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the team sees me struggling to catch these alluvials and makes them a little easier to shoot down. But
Get
we'll see.
good.
Well, even what we have now, I guess this is a good segue into the last segment here. The build that we have now that we're seeing is, I'll say, 10x better than what we had in the last private beta. But do you see this build as enough to bring in? I'm calling it mass adoption here for the title, but really just to get that hype anywhere similar to like Pal World got. Do you think this is enough to draw people in, or do we still need to see more?
I don't think we're going to reach. I think we're going to be the biggest game in crypto, like by far. I think it's going to be easy. I think we'll have a decent amount of Web2 people coming in, but mass adoption, no. I think I hope I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to FUD. I love Illuvium, but I really don't think alluvials are going to have value until the next game comes out that uses alluvials, because we really need like a sync for that, all of that value, and like players actually wanting to play the game. So I think multiplayer arena is going to be really casual friendly, just like TFT. I could see that driving player numbers up, especially we release open beta and then multiplayer comes out, you get another boost of players. That's actually a good thing in my opinion. But we need another game that feeds alluvials for mass adoption. Otherwise, these people in Web 2, I can already see it. They're going to be like, oh, why would I even go in and catch an alluvial? I spend $10 to go into a tier 3 or a stage 3 run or whatever, and I only get $2 out of it on average. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like, that's definitely a possibility. And I think that's a bit of a problem. I think for mass adoption, you don't want it to be like too big of money because that's not sustainable, but you don't want it to be too low to where they can't break even, because at the end of the day, most gamers don't really care about the money. They just want to have fun. So,
Yeah.
and if you're making too much money and then everything crashes, you're not having fun. And if you're not making enough money, you're just sinking money, and that's not sustainable.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There needs to be a new game. Like even there's always the idea of throwing around the ideas of like a shooter or a kart racing game. You need something that's easier for more people to catch on to than our current arena, because it's tough for a lot of people. I can see a lot of people trying it and just being like, this is too complicated to learn. It's not that fun. Like it's a lot of fun for some people, but like you get something like a Mario Kart where people just want to go out and play because it's fun, but you need to get those alluvials from the overworld, and that's going to be more of that sync. There's going to be people coming into the game being like, oh, look at this new shooter, look at this new kart racing game that I really want to play. Oh, I gotta get some of these alluvials just so I can play this game. I don't think there's a ton of people who are going to be doing that for the arena, and I still think there's going to be a lot of people. I just don't think it's going to be enough for that that mass player adoption.
Yeah. I could, and here's the bullish case too, as well. Like, I could be completely wrong. I mean, Teamfight Tactics has 33 million monthly active users. We make a game that's an 8-man mode, and it becomes popular and it plays well. It doesn't even have to be balanced as long as it's like decently balanced, and there's like multiple different decks you do, like 3 to 4. That could bring in a lot of players, and if we only get 100th of TFT's player base, I think that's a bullish enough scenario for Alluvials and Overworld to actually possibly be profitable. Probably not, but it's possible.
And I feel like I say this all the time. But in the long term, I think Illuvium is going to be the game. Not
Sure.
just Web3. Like, I think and we always talk about this, and I don't know how far away we are, but like, this is the future of gaming. And when a game like Illuvium is just looked at like another game, and people aren't turned off by the NFTs or the blockchain side of it, where it's just like commonplace that blockchain technology is used, and there's not that extra reason for some people just to hate on it for no reason, then I think Illuvium is going to be big. And they keep building out these new games that bring in a whole new player base every time they have a new genre of game come out. In the long term, I'm not worried about any aspect of Illuvium. In the short term, we'll see how it goes. I'll be here for the ride. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And on just real quick, on top of that, like let's say Arena just does decent, they have all of these assets built. Remember that like 3 year period where they were just building? They have that asset library where they can just I don't want to say pump out games, right? But it will be a lot faster than the previous years
Mm-hmm.
because they have that foundation now. So I wouldn't worry too much. But again, like not financial advice, just play the games for fun.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've heard Kieran say in my interview with him, I think that they could. I don't know if he said they're expecting 15-month turnaround per game, but I think he said about on average they could have a new game out every 15 months, I guess. So obviously a more complicated one might take more than that. But once we hit open beta and they can start putting, first of all, hiring more team members and putting some of the current team members towards a brand new project. If we hit open beta in, let's just say, the end of June or early July, by the next summer, or I guess winter, depending on what side of the globe you're on, a year later, we could be looking at, another game coming out. And then a year later, we could be looking at another one. Like, it's just going to keep compounding. Like, there's going to be new things always coming to Illuvium, where there are other games where I feel like their updates just aren't as dramatic and people will just get sick of them, really. Like games like Clash of Clans, like they might have little updates, but it's basically the same thing that you've seen for 15 years. But with Illuvium, we're gonna get brand new things all the time.
Yep, I'm excited for it. They're going to keep things fresh, and I really believe in them. I mean, there's going to be people saying, oh, they took 3 years, 4 years to do this. They kept delaying, they kept delaying. But you got to understand, like, it's the same argument as, like, there's no good NFT games. The technology wasn't there, and it takes a long time for games to be built. You have to build the foundation, which was the asset class, or no, the asset library, sorry. The asset library, and now it will be easier to put the pieces together for the next
Mm-hmm.
games. And I could be wrong, but I don't see a world where I am. I really believe in the team.
Yeah, me too. I know we've seen over the past few years, there's been some people who came and left from the community, but I think for the most part, anyone who's really took the time to like understand it and get involved in the community, most of them have stuck around because it seems inevitable that this is going to be a top game. I think most people can see that, and just
Not
just from my experience, like some people who have been kind of like known in this community that have vocally left the community, almost every one of them, I can see different reasons why. And it's not really because the game is not what they expect. It's someone's feelings got hurt for different things, or they feel like they didn't get something that they deserve. It wasn't because the game is bad. That's what they might say as a mask, but I don't think anyone who's really paying attention is leaving because they don't believe in this game at this point. And I could be wrong. If you're watching and you stayed to the end of this podcast and you don't believe in Illuvium, let us know down below.
Yeah, let us know. Maybe we can give the team some tips and they can fix some stuff if it's broken.
Yeah.
But I
Maybe
think
my biggest
there's
fan, Stop NFT and Gaming, maybe he's going to watch and leave a comment.
that guy he does not hate NFT gaming. He's a secret a bear so he can buy up more when this inevitability comes. Like
It's gotta
that,
be.
that or
I've
he's
got to be.
delusional.
I swear I'm the first tweet that pops up on his X every time he logs in because he's the first one commenting. I'm like, you're my biggest fan here. Like you, I don't think you hate these NFTs.
No, if you pay that much attention to something, you can't hate it. You
Yeah.
are a fan.
All right. Well, I wanna get off of here so I can get a little bit on the grind. Play a couple stage 0 runs. Maybe get my mag boots to level 3 tonight. I think we're done.
You guys
Thanks
don't
for
get any more.
thanks for coming on for another episode, Jimbo. Couldn't do it without you.
You're damn right you couldn't.
We didn't have another guest today, and if you weren't here, I'm not running the show by myself. No one wants to come and watch me.
You're
I wanna come and
awesome.
watch you.
You have like 10 times my subscribers, bro. Give yourself some credit. W Najafe in the comments. Like the video. Make sure you comment and make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, and same to Jimbo. Get his follower count up, and I know as we get more and more bullish on Illuvium, he's gonna be more and more present on X, on his Twitch. That's where you're doing most of your streaming, right?
Yep, Twitch.
Yep, streaming on Twitch, YouTube videos. The video I know you've been putting out more videos. Are you just putting those on X because that's where they're popping up for me, or are they going on YouTube and X?
It depends. Something because like some content is just like geared towards one platform,
Yeah,
and X is just it gives me the best outlet for creativity as well as
yeah,
Twitch. But a lot of people aren't watching on Twitch yet, so yeah,
yeah.
mostly X.
All right. Well, yeah. Follow all his stuff. Follow this one. Subscribe. Like. Do all that good junk. And if you are in this, if you're playing already and you've been playing for the past couple days, let us know how you're enjoying it, or if you're not enjoying it. Let us know your thoughts. But we'll be back in 2 more weeks for another episode. Hopefully, we can get another guest on, so you don't just need to look at our 2 boring faces. We get a fresh face for you. But that's it. So,
J Chains, come on.
J Chains. All right, later.
See it. Clip that up.